Hi, how are you guys doing? This morning we're looking at a verse that's in Psalm 62. And David says in Psalm 62:1, truly my soul silently waits for God. From him comes my salvation. Later in that same psalm, it says in verse 5, my soul wait silently for God alone, for my expectation comes from him. So we can see here that part of being able to be silent about our problems is if our trust, our expectation, and who we're really looking to for help is God. If it's our husbands, if it's our wives, if it's our boss, if it's our doctors, we aren't very silent. And I believe this silence is not just verbal silence, but an inner agitation that quiets. We're able to kind of assess quietly without analyzing and tearing it apart and having to kind of rant and rave about our problems over and over again or go on and on about them. Sometimes when we find ourselves too vocal or too restless, it's a good time to say, where's my expectation coming from? Where am I looking for help from? That doesn't mean God won't use doctors or jobs. But are we looking at those as something God is using? Are we looking at them as something that our expectation is upon, our hope is upon, our trust is upon? Later, it says, trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. And so this shows us that the ability to trust and to be quiet inside, and even with our mouths, has to do with pouring out our hearts before him. You see, we don't have to be silent in his presence. We can kind of pour out our hearts and cast our cares and our anxieties. But when we transfer those things and say, Lord, I'm pouring these out, not to just mull over them in your presence, to let you in on what I'm going through, but I'm actually taking them, I'm pouring out my heart before you, and I'm placing these things in your hand. And now I'm really, even if I talk about it again, I'm talking about it in a way that I know you're on it, and I know you love me, and I know that you're on top of this. See, the Lord doesn't really want us agitated or troubled. He even said, why are you troubled? Or let not your hearts be troubled. And one of the ways we can avoid that troubled heart is to be able to say, am I waiting on the Lord? Am I waiting on that check? Am I waiting on that pastor? Am I waiting on my kids to get right with the Lord? We should always want our kids to get right with the Lord. We do need to work and get money, but our expectation, our hope, who we're placing our eyes upon has to be the Lord alone. Then we'll be able to wait silently. And when we're silent, we're going to hear his leading better, and we might actually end up with deliverance and solution a little quicker because we're not so cluttered with our worries and our anxieties and the things that we're saying. So might I encourage all of us today, as David said, say, truly, my soul silently waits for God. From him comes my salvation. Transfer trust. Redirect who you're looking to and waiting on. God might use all those things, but we have to say, my help comes from God alone. Have a wonderful day.